For those of you that love talking about animals, from Sci News. First ever discovery of ceratosaur in Australia. Fossilized remains of a ceratosaurian dinosaur discovered in Australia in 2006 is the first evidence that a major group of meat eating dinosaurs roamed the eastern part of the supercontinent Gondwana some 125 million years ago. And now, from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. Welcome to Creature Guide Live Prehistoric News. And let's dive right back into the prehistoric news of the day. So this is really interesting to hear considering ceratosaurians are not often talked about during the early Cretaceous period, late Cretaceous period. They're mostly focused on back in the late Jurassic. Like they are mentioned, but just not often. So this is good to see, especially coming from southern Gondwana land over in Australia. So let's see who we have here. The ceratosaur discovery published in the journal Nature Wissenschaften. So is this him? Or is that the journal? Improves understanding of the distribution and the evolution of dinosaurs in eastern Gondwana, the supercontinent of which Australia was once a part. Until now, this group of dinosaurs has been strangely absent from Australia, but now at last we know they were here, confirming their global distribution. Oh, okay. So, also, this is a bit of an older article, but I didn't realize it had been confirmed that ceratosaurians had existed in Australia. It's just never mentioned. Carnivorous creatures, 1 to 2 meters in height, or somewhere between 3 to 6.6 feet. Ceratosaurs have been found in both the northern and southern hemispheres. This discovery joins other widespread carnivorous dinosaurs now known to have lived in Australia: Tyrannosaurs, Spinosaurs, and Allosaurs. Yeah, I think recently there was a species of Tyrannosaur that was discovered over in Australia, possibly early Cretaceous, because they were non existent over in the southern hemisphere during the late Cretaceous period. So after 100 million years ago. But the Spinosaurids, that's an interesting one. I do not know who that might be. And the Allosaurs, this is probably referring to different species of carnosaur from the region, which is also what the ceratosaurs are a part of as well. Carnosaurs are a wide range of different species of theropod dinosaurs. The Tyrannosaurs and the Spinosaurs, though, were not part of the Carnosaur lineage. The discovery also lends weight to the idea that Australia was once a melting pot of dinosaur diversity. So let's take a look at a much more well known member, of course, Ceratosaurus, which existed in Colorado, Utah, Arizona around 150 million years ago during the late Jurassic. And this animal, there have been many theories as to what this animal might have eaten. Now, it is for sure a carnivore. However, looking at the teeth of this animal, they are very long compared to its body size. In fact, when it comes to any species of theropod dinosaur, they are among the sharpest. Now, what's interesting with ceratosaurs is that ceratosaurs has been found in mostly floodplain or certain lake deposits. They're quite common in these types of areas within the Morrison Formation of these states. Now, um, looking at that, and also even a theory that was put out in the early 2000s by Dr. Bob Bacher, who is a paleontologist that brought back the theory that dinosaurs were not these cold-blooded, scaly, unintelligent reptiles, but in fact that they were warm-blooded, in many cases feathered, intelligent bird-like animals. He put out a theory that these, due to where the ceratosaurs were discovered and the shape of the jaw structure, especially looking at the teeth, that they were likely to have fed on different species of fish as well as turtles and maybe even certain um, semi-aquatic amphibians. So it is very possible that Ceratosaurus might not have focused on different species of dinosaur and would have focused on different aquatic animals. Now, this is the model from Jurassic Park 3 when it comes to Ceratosaurus, which was very stocky for Ceratosaurus. Now, Ceratosaurus in reconstruction has gone through many loops. It was for a time. revered as sort of like a very, I wouldn't necessarily say slender, but a bit of a skinny animal, beforehand a bit stocky. And it's just much too heavily built from Jurassic Park 3. And then you have it when looking at the skull of the animal. They do not really show the two horns on top of both eye sockets. So in reality, you would have had it where it looked much more similar to this individual. So this is also one of the two different species of Ceratosaurus that have been discovered. Now, Ceratosaurus has been found in Tanzania, over in Africa, as well as fossils from Switzerland, Portugal, and then you have it where Ceratosaurus nasicornis was found in North America. So Dentis succatus is found in, I believe, the African regions of Gondwana. Oh, so Ceratosaurus could reach a length, specifically of the larger species, of around 23 feet in length or 7 meters and probably weigh a little over 2,000 pounds. So, despite its skinny like depictions in some instances, it was quite heavily built. So, going back to the article, now I'm not saying that it would have been impossible for or improbable for Ceratosaurus to hunt at least smaller species of dinosaurs. It certainly was capable of doing so. And there's even evidence for other species of dinosaurs with more lightly built skulls to hunt non-fish animals. So let's see. It had been thought that isolation played a lead role in the formation of Australia's dinosaur fauna, but the ceratosaur and other new discoveries show that several dinosaur groups were here. These dinosaur lineages date back to the Jurassic, 170 million years ago, when dinosaurs could walk between any two continents. Um, I'm trying to think at this point with the okay, yes, it was much more connected. I was thinking of I flip flopped it. I thought it was talking about a much wider separation. So it confused me. So perhaps Australia's dinosaurs represent those groups that achieved global distributions early in their history. Also, something to mention, the ceratosaurians, so they're a large group of theropods, not as large as the carnosaurs, but they first evolved at the beginning of the Jurassic, around 199 million years ago. And they would lower a bit in variety as the Cretaceous period would continue after the Jurassic, but they still made it to the mass extinction event 66 million years ago. Ceratosaurs, however, would die out somewhere around 148 million years ago. So at the very last 3 million years of the Jurassic. So it's the old age of their lineages, not continental isolation, which explains these dinosaurs' presence in Australia. The ceratosaur fossil, an ankle bone. So here it is. That's pretty well cleaned. About 6 centimeters wide, was found near the seaside town of San Remo, 87 kilometers southeast of Melbourne. Let's see. Apart from Antarctica, Australia has the world's most poorly known dinosaur record. Well, I wouldn't consider Australia to not really have any dinosaurs. I know that's not exactly what it's saying, but there have been, especially in the past 20 years, a wide variety of new species that have been coming out of Australia as well. So you have different species of sauropods, different species of megaraptors. Now, I am talking about many species of Cretaceous dinosaurs. Oh, well, okay. This is from the Cretaceous. When um, even people like me, when you hear the term ceratosaur, most of the time Ceratosaurus comes to your mind, but he's a late Jurassic animal. But Australia does have a wide range of different species. One of the last frontiers for dinosaur hunters, although discovery rates are accelerating, we're still in the early days of exploring which dinosaurs actually lived here. Each discovery has a potential to change what we know. Oh, so also mentioning a distant relative of the ceratosaurs is a member of the Dilophosauridae lineage of carnivores called Dilophosaurus. So this animal inhabited Arizona around 190 million years ago during the early Jurassic and was one of the largest carnivores up to this time. Now, Dilophosaurus has been portrayed as having a frill and as well as spitting out venom. This did not occur. There is not any evidence on the skeleton to suggest that there would have been any venomous grooves or some sort of a like repulsion of venom. And there's also no evidence for like any preserved skin to suggest a frill like the frilled dragon lizard of Australia. Dilophosaurus, also in Jurassic Park, is far too small. This animal could reach over 20, around 23 feet in length or 7 meters and could weigh somewhere around 2,200 pounds or a little over 1,000 kilograms. So it would have fed on different species of sauropodomorph at the time. So basically, they ate it. Yes, a very powerful puppy, but yes. Now, another thing is that when you look at also the body structure of this animal, it's far too skinny. Now, Dilophosaurs were, in a sense, a bit more of a slender build, but definitely less so than animals like Ceratosaurus. I'd say um, well, technically, then I'm complimenting this. They were slightly, more heavily built than what you see on the model, but the other thing is that the skull of this animal is far too broad or robust. Dilophosaurus actually had a very long and thin, narrow jaw, and like what we were suggesting with Ceratosaurus, it's very possible with Dilophosaurus that this animal might have also have fed on fish, due to its um distinct shaped jaw. In some instances, it's almost like certain spinosaurs when you look at them, just like the distinct curve. You don't see it as much here. The crest on the top of its head would most likely have been used for display. Are they eating flying fish? Because they're in a desert. They killed a sauropodomorph in this instance, it looks like. So that is one of the theories, though. Sauropodomorphs, being a very most likely soft-skinned animal, probably wouldn't have needed like a very strong bite force to take them down. So as long as you had somewhat robust jaw but very sharp teeth, or at least like decent serrated edges, because here's the problem: when you look at animals that have very wide teeth. When it comes to carnivores, they tend to have very dull serrated edges. It's not that they can't slice through something, but they're meant for simply crushing whatever they get their teeth on. And then animals like Dilophosaurus and then even animals such as Allosaurus have very thin and narrow teeth. They're very knife-like. And with these types of teeth, you tend to have much sharper serrated edges, which benefits them when it comes to softer prey, as well as just simply cutting up their meat, making up for their low bite force. Let's see. So, it is very possible that Dilophosaurus might have had feathers. It's also interesting they added this distinct texture, kind of like what a bell that you see on chickens or turkeys. Now, cacapos, but it's a big question because we don't have any evidence for Dilophosaurus scoring feathers. So, oh, I already finished that. And then you have it where over in England, around 165 million years ago, is a species of carnivore called Eustreptospondylus, which is a member of the Megalosauridae lineage of theropod dinosaurs. And from Megalosauridae, you have predators such as Megalosaurus, also from England, close to the same times, from around 165 to 170 million years ago, but much larger than Eustreptospondylus. Eustreptospondylus was somewhere around 15 to 20 feet in length, or around 5 to 6 meters, and could have reached somewhere around 800 pounds or a little over 350 kilograms. It's very possible that since this animal, in the area that it existed within England, it was simply a chain of islands at that point. Um, it was probably just feeding on smaller species of dinosaurs, might have even scavenged marine reptiles that ended up being beached. Um, this is an interesting reconstruction. There, there isn't, I believe, even to this point, there has only been a single specimen of Eustreptus monolith that has been discovered, and so it's a bit of a question as to whether or not the animal was a subadult, and it just hadn't finished growing. Now, Eustreptospondylus. Oh, okay. So when it comes to Megalosaurus possibly inhabited larger areas of land compared to this carnivore, since for the time this wasn't anywhere near the largest. But Megalosaurus could reach over 30 feet in length and weigh somewhere around 2.5 to 3 tons. So it was pushing Allosaurus size and was also the first dinosaur to be named as well. So, um, let me know in the comments who your favorite species of Australian prehistoric animal is. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you love talking about animals, and share this show with everyone you know, because nothing is better than all animals all the time.